Hello everyone, welcome to 6-Path Weeb. Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. Today's fanfiction theme is, what if Naruko entered the Demon Slayer universe? Disclaimer. The content presented on this channel is intended solely for entertainment and discussion purposes. I do not claim ownership of any anime footage used in my videos. All rights and credits belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Let's dive in. Naruko was just an ordinary kid who loved exploring the forest near her home. One bright and sunny afternoon, while wandering deeper than usual, she stumbled upon something she had never seen before, a swirling, shimmering portal hidden behind some bushes. Curious as ever, Naruko stepped closer and felt a gentle pull, like the air itself was inviting her in. Before she could think twice, she stepped through the glowing circle and suddenly found herself somewhere completely new. When Naruko opened her eyes, everything looked different. The trees were taller, the mountains in the distance seemed larger, and the air smelled fresh but with a strange tension, like something was watching her. She didn't recognize the place at all. As she stood there, unsure of where to go, she heard footsteps quickly approaching. Turning around, she saw a young boy carrying a sword. His expression was serious but not unfriendly. "Who are you?" the boy asked, his voice calm but cautious. "You don't look like you belong here." Naruko swallowed her fear and answered, "I'm Naruko. I don't know how I got here. Can you help me?" The boy relaxed a little and introduced himself as Tanjiro Kamado. He explained that this was a dangerous world filled with demons, creatures that could harm people, and that he was a demon slayer who protected others from these threats. Hearing this made Naruko nervous but also curious. She wanted to help and learn how to be brave like Tanjiro. Tanjiro invited Naruko to come with him to his home to rest and learn more about this new world. Along the way, Naruko noticed how kind and determined Tanjiro was. Even though everything was strange, she felt safe with him. As they walked through the forest, Naruko thought about what she could do in this world. Maybe she could find a way back home, or maybe she could become strong enough to fight alongside Tanjiro. Suddenly, they heard a rustling noise nearby. Both turned quickly, ready for whatever might come out of the bushes. Naruko's heart pounded, but Tanjiro stood tall, holding his sword tightly. A small, frightened creature peeked out instead, a tiny fox with big eyes. Tanjiro smiled gently and said, "Looks like not all creatures here are dangerous." Naruko laughed, feeling a little more at ease. This new world was full of surprises, but with new friends by her side, she was ready for the adventure ahead. After spending a night at Tanjiro's home, Naruko woke up feeling determined. She wanted to be helpful in this new world, especially since demons could be so dangerous. Tanjiro smiled when he saw her ready and said, "If you want to stay safe here, you'll need to learn how to protect yourself. Training won't be easy, but I'll teach you what I can." Naruko nodded eagerly. Tanjiro began showing her basic sword stances and breathing techniques, important skills that help demon slayers fight with strength and focus. At first, it was hard for Naruko to keep up. Her arms tired quickly, and her steps felt awkward. But Tanjiro was patient, encouraging her every step of the way. While training one afternoon, they heard voices nearby. Curious, they followed the sound and soon met two more demon slayers, Zenitsu and Inosuke. Zenitsu was nervous and loud, always worrying about demons, but he had a brave heart. Inosuke was wild and energetic, wearing a boar's head mask, and loved to challenge anyone to spar. Both were excited to meet Naruko and welcomed her warmly. The four of them began training together, laughing and learning from each other. Naruko felt happy to have new friends. She was starting to believe she could be strong enough to help protect people too. But that night, when the moon was high, a sudden scream broke the quiet. Tanjiro, Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Naruko rushed outside to find a small village under attack by a demon. The creature was tall and shadowy, with sharp claws and glowing eyes. Naruko's heart raced. This was her first real encounter with a demon, and it was terrifying. Tanjiro told everyone to stay back, but Naruko felt a sudden surge of courage. She picked up a small wooden stick nearby and stood beside her friends. Although she wasn't ready to fight like them yet, she wanted to help. Zenitsu's sword flashed quickly as he fought the demon, and Inosuke charged with his wild attacks. Tanjiro moved calmly, using his breathing techniques to land precise strikes. Naruko watched closely, learning how they worked together to protect the village. After a fierce battle, the demon was defeated, and the villagers cheered. Naruko felt relief and pride. She knew she still had a long way to go, but now she had seen what being a demon slayer really meant: bravery, teamwork, and protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. Naruko woke the next morning feeling the ache of her muscles, a reminder of how much training she still needed. But her spirit was stronger than ever. She was determined to improve, not just to keep herself safe, but to help her new friends and protect the innocent villagers she had come to care about. Tanjiro noticed her determination and decided it was time to teach her something important: breath control. Breathing is the heart of a demon slayer's power, he explained gently. If you can learn to control your breath, you can move faster, strike harder, and stay calm even when facing danger. Naruko listened carefully as Tanjiro demonstrated the special breathing technique. At first, it felt strange and difficult to focus on her breath, especially when her mind was full of worry and excitement. But with Tanjiro's guidance, she practiced again and again, feeling a small spark of power building inside her. Meanwhile, Zenitsu and Inashuk continued their own training routines, but they often stopped to cheer Naruko on or give her tips, sometimes helpful, sometimes silly. Zenitsu, despite his nervousness, shared his secret of fighting best when he stopped being scared and just trusted his instincts. Inashuk, wild and fearless, encouraged Naruko to trust her own strength, even if she didn't feel it yet. One afternoon, after a long day of practice, the group decided to explore the nearby forest together. The forest was dense and full of strange sounds, but with friends by her side, Naruko felt brave. As they walked, they stumbled upon an old shrine, half hidden by vines and moss. Tanjiro explained that many demon slayers visited shrines like this to find peace and strength before battle. Suddenly, a chilling howl echoed through the trees. The group froze. Out from the shadows stepped a demon unlike any Naruko had seen before. It was smaller, but faster, with eyes that glowed like burning coals and sharp teeth bared in a snarl. It moved quickly toward them. Without hesitation, Tanjiro and the others sprang into action. Naruko's heart pounded, but she remembered her breathing practice and forced herself to stay calm. She raised her wooden stick, ready to defend herself. Zenitsu's sword flashed as he struck the demon, while Inashuk charged with a loud roar. Tanjiro moved with grace, aiming for the demon's weak spots. Naruko tried to copy their movements, blocking and dodging as best as she could. After a tense battle, the demon finally fled into the forest, wounded but not defeated. Naruko realized this was only the beginning. There would be more demons, more challenges, but she felt ready to face them, especially with her new friends by her side. As the sun set, the group gathered around a campfire. Naruko smiled, feeling a warmth not just from the flames but from the bond she had formed with Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inashuk. Together, they were stronger, and together, they would face whatever dangers came next. Naruko sat quietly by the warm glow of the campfire, her eyes wide with curiosity as Tanjiro began to tell her about the Demon Slayer Corps. She listened carefully, eager to understand the world she had stepped into. The Demon Slayer Corps isn't just about fighting demons, Tanjiro explained gently. It's about protecting people, helping those in need, and working together to keep everyone safe. The members are like a big family. We train hard, but we also support each other and learn to understand the creatures we face. Naruko's mind filled with questions. But how do you know which demons to protect and which to stop? Are they all bad? Tanjiro smiled kindly. Not all demons are the same. Some have forgotten who they were before, and some are lost or hurting. Our job is to help, to heal when we can, and only to stop those who hurt others. Naruko thought about this as the fire crackled softly. It was a big responsibility. She wanted to be part of this family, to help in any way she could. The next morning, Tanjiro took Naruko to the Corps training grounds, a peaceful place surrounded by tall trees and clear streams. Here, new members learned not only to move quickly and stay strong but also how to care for others, how to listen, and how to work as a team. Naruko met other young trainees, each with their own hopes and dreams. There was a girl named Kyo who loved plants and could tell stories that made everyone smile. A boy named Riku who was quiet but had a heart full of courage. They all welcomed Naruko with warm smiles and friendly greetings. Together, they practiced breathing exercises to calm their minds and body movements to build balance and strength. The instructors encouraged kindness, patience, and respect for all living things. Even the forest creatures seemed to watch the training with gentle interest. Naruko found herself enjoying the new routines, learning to be patient with herself, discovering new ways to breathe deeply, and feeling her body grow stronger every day. But more than that, she loved the friendships forming around her. She realized that being part of the Demon Slayer Corps wasn't just about being brave, it was about caring deeply, growing together, and making a difference without causing harm. The morning sun rose bright and warm over the training grounds, and Naruko woke with a flutter of excitement in her chest. Today was a special day, the annual Moonlight Festival, a celebration held by the Demon Slayer Corps and the nearby villages to honor the bond between people and nature, and to remember the importance of peace and kindness. As Naruko stepped outside, she saw decorations everywhere. Paper lanterns hung from tree branches, swaying gently in the breeze, their soft colors glowing even in the daylight. Banners with painted flowers and symbols fluttered, and the air smelled sweet with fresh blossoms and delicious food. Tanjiro greeted Naruko with a smile. The Moonlight Festival is one of the happiest days of the year. Everyone comes together, families, friends, and even travelers. It's a time to relax, enjoy good company, and share stories. Naruko's friends, Kyo and Riku, waved her over to a group near a wooden stage. The villagers and demon slayers had prepared performances, songs, dances, and storytelling, to entertain everyone. Naruko's eyes sparkled as she saw children dressed in bright clothes, laughing and playing games nearby. First, there was a graceful dance performed by a group of young girls, their movements like the gentle flow of water. Then, a troupe of musicians played cheerful tunes on flutes and drums, inviting the crowd to clap along. Naruko joined in, feeling the rhythm in her heart and the warmth of friendship all around. After the performances, everyone gathered at long tables piled high with food. There were sweet rice cakes, fresh fruit, and warm tea brewed from herbs grown in the village gardens. Naruko tried a soft, pink mochi for the first time and giggled when the sweetness surprised her. Later, the elders invited the children to write their hopes and wishes on small paper slips and hang them on a tall bamboo tree decorated with colorful ribbons. Naruko carefully wrote, "I wish to help and protect my friends and all those in need," before tying her paper to a branch. As twilight painted the sky with shades of purple and gold, the paper lanterns were lit. They floated gently upwards, carrying the wishes of everyone to the stars above. Naruko watched in awe, feeling peaceful and happy. She realized that even in a world with challenges, moments like this brought light and hope. Before the festival ended, Tanjiro took Naruko and her friends to a quiet clearing where they sat under the stars. "The Moonlight Festival reminds us why we do what we do," he said softly. "It's not just about fighting or being strong. It's about protecting the light, the joy, the kindness, and the love that make this world beautiful." Naruko nodded, her heart full. She knew she had found a new home among these brave, caring friends. Together, they would keep that light shining bright. As the lanterns floated into the night sky, the festival was far from over. Naruko noticed a group of children gathered around a small booth where a friendly elder was teaching them how to fold paper cranes. Intrigued, Naruko joined the circle and learned how to carefully crease the paper to create the delicate birds. The elder explained that the cranes were symbols of hope and peace, and folding them was a way to send good wishes to everyone. Nearby, there was a game called Catch the Firefly, where children tried to gently catch glowing lantern bugs inside soft nets before releasing them again. Naruko laughed as she tried to catch one but only managed to make it buzz softly on her hand before flying away. The game was less about winning and more about appreciating the beauty of nature's little lights. At another part of the festival, there was a storytelling tent where an elder shared ancient tales of the forest spirits and the kindness of the first demon slayers. The stories were full of magic and wonder, teaching lessons about courage, friendship, and respect for all living things. Naruko listened, wide-eyed, feeling like she was part of something very special. Then came the time for the Moonlight Dance, a gentle tradition where everyone joined hands in a big circle and moved slowly to soft music played on flutes and drums. The dance was a way to honor the moon that watched over them all, reminding everyone to stay calm and strong even when times were tough. Naruko held hands with Tanjiro, Kyo, and Riku, feeling their warmth and friendship in every step. As the dance ended, the festival's final event began, a quiet moment of gratitude. Everyone bowed their heads to thank the forest, the village, and the bonds they shared. Naruko felt a deep peace inside her, grateful for the new friends, the lessons she was learning, and the gentle strength growing in her heart. Before heading back to camp, Naruko and her friends sat by a small stream, sharing stories and dreams. They promised to always support each other, just like the community at the festival. Naruko realized that even though she had come from a different world, here she had found a family and a purpose. After the joyful excitement of the Moonlight Festival, Naruko felt a new sense of purpose. She was eager to learn more, to grow stronger not just in body but in heart. One clear morning, as the sun filtered softly through the leaves, Tanjiro suggested a visit to a special place, deep in the heart of the forest. "There's someone I want you to meet," Tanjiro said with a smile. "She's helped me and many others on their paths. You'll like her." Naruko's curiosity sparkled as they walked along a winding path. The sounds of birds and rustling leaves surrounded them, peaceful and comforting. After some time, they arrived at a small wooden house nestled between towering trees, its windows framed with blooming flowers. From the porch came a gentle voice. "Welcome, Tanjiro. And you must be Naruko." A woman stepped forward, her eyes kind and wise. She wore simple robes, and a soft smile rested on her lips. Her name was Hana, a healer and mentor to many within the Demon Slayer Corps. "Come in, don't be shy," Hana said warmly. "I hear you're eager to learn." Naruko stepped inside and was immediately enveloped by the scent of herbs and the peaceful atmosphere. Shelves lined with jars of dried flowers and plants filled the room, and the walls were adorned with paintings of nature, mountains, rivers, and the moon. Hana motioned for Naruko to sit at a low wooden table. "The first thing to understand," she began gently, "is that being a demon slayer is about much more than strength. It's about understanding of yourself, others, and the world around you." Naruko listened intently as Hana spoke of balance, the balance between courage and kindness, action and patience. "You have a bright spirit, Naruko," she said. "With the right guidance, you will grow into someone who protects others without losing sight of what makes life beautiful." For days, Naruko visited Hana's home. She learned about herbs and healing, how to soothe pain and calm fears. Hana showed her simple breathing exercises to steady her mind and techniques to listen closely, not just to words but to the feelings behind them. One afternoon, Hana took Naruko outside to a quiet clearing where wildflowers swayed in the breeze. "Close your eyes," she said softly. "Listen to the world around you." Naruko did as she was told. At first, all she noticed was the sound of the wind. But gradually, she heard birds singing far above, the gentle babbling of a nearby stream, even the tiny rustle of insects moving through the grass. "Nature speaks to those who listen," Hana explained. "When you learn to hear its voice, you'll find strength in its calm and wisdom in its quiet." Naruko opened her eyes, feeling a deep sense of peace. She realized that being strong didn't always mean fighting. Sometimes, it meant understanding, healing, and protecting life in all its forms. As the weeks passed, Hana taught Naruko how to prepare simple remedies using the plants growing nearby. They made poultices to soothe scratches and teas to ease tired muscles. Naruko loved the gentle rhythm of this work, it made her feel connected to the world and to those she wanted to help. One day, Hana handed Naruko a small, wooden flute. "Music is a powerful healer," she said. "It can calm the mind and open the heart. Try playing it whenever you feel uncertain." Naruko held the flute carefully and blew softly. The sound was quiet at first but grew clear and sweet. As she played, she felt a calmness spreading through her, like the soft light of dawn. Tanjiro and the others often came by to see Naruko's progress. Zenitsu, who usually worried about everything, smiled wider after hearing the flute, saying it reminded him to stay calm. Inashuk, always full of energy, even tried to imitate the flute's melody with his wild shouts, making everyone laugh. With Hana's guidance, Naruko grew stronger in ways she hadn't expected. She learned that bravery wasn't just about facing danger head-on, but about kindness, patience, and understanding. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and painted the sky in shades of pink and orange, Hana shared a story with Naruko. It was about a great healer from long ago, someone who used gentle hands and a calm heart to bring peace to a troubled land. "The greatest strength," Hana said quietly, "comes from the heart. Never forget that." Naruko looked up at the stars beginning to twinkle above. She felt ready to continue her journey, not just as a warrior, but as a protector of life and light. One morning, as soft sunlight filtered through the trees, Hana invited Naruko to join her on a special walk through the forest. "Today," Hana said with a gentle smile, "you will take on a quest, not one of battle, but of care. There is someone in need, and I believe you are ready to help." Naruko's eyes widened with excitement. "Who is it? What kind of help do they need?" Hana handed her a small wooden talisman carved with a delicate leaf pattern. "This will guide you. Listen to the forest, trust your heart, and you will find the way." With the talisman in hand, Naruko stepped into the forest path. The air was fresh and filled with the sounds of rustling leaves and distant birdsong. She remembered Hana's lessons about listening deeply, to nature, to others, and to herself. As she walked, Naruko noticed small signs along the way, a broken branch here, a patch of wilted flowers there, and footprints of a small animal leading toward a nearby stream. She followed the trail carefully, using her observation skills to understand what had happened. Near the stream, Naruko found a young deer trapped between some fallen branches. The deer looked frightened but unharmed. Naruko's heart filled with compassion. She remembered Hana's teachings about calmness and patience. Softly, she approached the deer, speaking in gentle tones to soothe it. Using the knowledge Hana had shared about healing herbs, Naruko gathered some soft leaves and fashioned a small cushion to help ease the deer's discomfort. Slowly and carefully, Naruko freed the branches trapping the deer, making sure not to startle it. Once free, the deer hesitated for a moment, then nuzzled Naruko's hand before bounding safely back into the forest. Feeling a warm glow of happiness, Naruko continued her walk until she reached a small village on the forest's edge. The villagers greeted her with smiles, and an elder approached with a grateful expression. "We've been worried about our well," the elder explained. "The water has been cloudy and slow to flow, and many of our plants are wilting." Naruko thought back to what Hana had taught her about the balance of nature. She knelt by the well and examined the water and nearby soil. With the villagers' help, Naruko gathered fresh herbs and natural stones, carefully arranging them around the well's edge to help purify the water and encourage its flow. Over the next few days, Naruko visited the village regularly, teaching the villagers simple ways to care for the plants and keep the water clean. She showed them how to listen to the land and work gently with nature rather than forcing it. The villagers were grateful and invited Naruko to join their small festival of thanks, where they shared songs, stories, and food. Naruko felt proud and happy. She had helped without fighting or fear, simply by caring and listening. When she returned to Hana's home, the mentor smiled warmly. "You've done well, Naruko. Remember, the greatest quests often come not from battles, but from kindness and understanding." Naruko nodded, feeling her heart full. She knew her journey had many more steps to take, but with every act of care, she was growing stronger in the most important ways. The morning after her successful quest, Naruko woke feeling both tired and energized. Her heart was full of pride from helping the deer and the village, but she knew there was still so much more to learn. Hana greeted her with a gentle smile as she arrived for their daily meeting. "Today," Hana said softly, "I want to teach you something very special, how to understand and use the art of empathy sensing. It's a skill that helps you feel and understand the emotions of those around you, even when no words are spoken." Naruko's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "How do I learn that?" Hana led her to a quiet glade where the villagers often came to rest and reflect. "First, you must learn to quiet your own mind," Hana explained. "Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and listen, not just to sounds, but to the feelings carried on the air." Naruko settled on the soft grass, closing her eyes and focusing on her breathing. She remembered Hana's earlier lessons about nature's quiet whispers, the songs of birds, the rustling leaves, the gentle flow of the stream nearby. As she relaxed, she began to notice something new. A warmth in the air near a nearby oak tree, a faint sadness around a patch of wildflowers, and a calm, joyful feeling drifting from the village beyond the trees. Opening her eyes, Naruko was amazed. "I didn't know feelings could be like colors or sounds." Hana nodded. "They are. With practice, you'll learn to see the unseen, to comfort those in pain, and to bring peace even when words are not enough." Over the next days, Hana guided Naruko through exercises to practice empathy sensing. They would visit the village market, observing people quietly and guessing how they felt. Sometimes, Naruko would gently approach someone who seemed worried or sad, offering a kind word or a helping hand. The villagers quickly grew fond of Naruko, appreciating her gentle spirit and her eagerness to help. One afternoon, an elderly woman named Miyo invited Naruko to her home. Miyo was a master of weaving beautiful cloth using traditional techniques passed down through generations. "I want to teach you how weaving is more than just making fabric," Miyo said kindly. "It's about patience, care, and weaving kindness into every thread." Naruko spent hours learning to work the loom, her fingers moving slowly but steadily. As she wove, Miyo shared stories of how the villagers used cloth to celebrate, to heal, and to share with neighbors in need. Naruko saw that even the smallest act, like weaving a cloth, could carry meaning and bring people together. One day, during her weaving lessons, Naruko noticed a young boy from the village watching quietly. He seemed shy but curious. Hana smiled when she saw him too. "Why don't you invite him to join us?" Hana suggested gently. Naruko nodded and reached out to the boy. "Would you like to learn to weave too?" The boy's face lit up with a shy smile. Soon, more children gathered around, eager to try. Naruko found joy not just in learning but in teaching and sharing the skill. As the days turned into weeks, Naruko's new abilities grew. She could feel the hopes and worries of others, offering comfort when needed. She could create beautiful cloth that told stories and strengthened community bonds. And she realized that strength came not only from fighting or power, but from connection, understanding, and the willingness to help. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky with soft colors, Hana and Naruko sat together by the fire. Hana looked at her warmly. "You've grown so much, Naruko. Remember, the greatest heroes shine brightest not through their strength alone, but through their hearts." Naruko smiled, feeling a quiet confidence deep inside. She knew her journey had many paths ahead, but with every new skill and every kind act, she was walking the right one. One crisp morning, as Naruko was practicing her weaving with the village children, a hurried messenger arrived at the village square. The villagers gathered anxiously as the messenger explained the problem. The bridge that connected their village to the nearby forest path had been damaged in a recent storm. Without the bridge, the villagers could not easily reach the forest to gather herbs, firewood, or visit neighboring friends. The village elder turned to Hana and then to Naruko. We need a solution that keeps everyone safe, but the bridge is old and fragile. Repairing it quickly is important, but we must be gentle with the forest and the river below. Naruko's heart beat with a mix of worry and determination. She remembered Hana's lessons on understanding nature and the power of kindness. Maybe I can help, she offered softly. If we listen to the forest and the people, we might find a way to fix the bridge without hurting the environment or anyone. Hana smiled warmly. That's the spirit, Naruko. Let's begin by sensing what the forest and river need. Together, they walked to the broken bridge. Naruko closed her eyes and focused deeply, feeling the currents of the river and the breath of the trees. She sensed sadness in the cracked wood and a quiet plea from the river to avoid rushing repairs that could harm its flow. Turning to the villagers, Naruko suggested, what if we weave a temporary support using natural materials, like vines and flexible branches, so the bridge can be safe to cross while we plan a careful, lasting repair. This way, we respect the river and forest while helping everyone. The villagers nodded thoughtfully. They gathered materials, strong vines, reeds, and young branches, while Naruko guided them in weaving these into sturdy nets and bindings. Her weaving skills, learned from Mio, became invaluable. She showed the children how to create strong patterns that could hold weight but also flex gently with the wind and water. As they worked, Naruko also reached out to the riverbank, planting small bundles of herbs and flowers known to strengthen soil and prevent erosion. She explained to the villagers how this would help the land recover naturally. During this time, Naruko noticed some of the villagers seemed worried about how long the repairs would take. Using her empathy sensing, she gathered the children and adults to share stories about patience and cooperation, reminding them that working gently with nature would keep everyone safe in the long run. Days passed, and the woven supports held strong. The villagers could cross safely again, and the forest seemed to breathe easier. The river flowed clear, undisturbed by heavy construction. One afternoon, as the sun warmed the village, the elder approached Naruko with a thankful smile. Your kindness and skills have not only helped us cross the river but have reminded us how important it is to listen, to nature and each other. Naruko felt a gentle glow of happiness. She understood now that her journey wasn't about battles or strength alone but about weaving together hearts, skills, and nature in harmony. That evening, as lanterns lit the village paths, Naruko sat with Hana by the fire. Hana looked at her with pride. You faced a challenge with empathy and creativity. That is the true mark of a protector. Your weaving isn't just of threads but of connections that hold us all together. Naruko smiled, knowing that with every peaceful challenge, she was growing into the kind of demon slayer the world truly needed, one who guarded not just with strength, but with understanding, kindness, and care. After the bridge was safely mended, Naruko found herself walking along a quiet forest path with Tanjiro. The gentle rustle of leaves and soft chirping of birds created a peaceful soundtrack as they walked side by side. Naruko, Tanjiro began, his voice calm and kind, you've grown so much since you arrived here. But being a demon slayer isn't just about learning new skills or helping others, it's also about understanding yourself. Naruko looked up, curiosity shining in her eyes. Understanding myself? What do you mean? Tanjiro smiled gently. In our world, we face many challenges, and sometimes it's easy to feel scared, confused, or unsure. But the true strength comes from knowing who you are inside, your hopes, your fears, and your heart. They stopped beneath a large cherry blossom tree, petals softly drifting down like pink snow. Tanjiro continued, when I first started training, I struggled with doubt. But I learned to be patient with myself, to accept my feelings, and to keep moving forward with kindness. Naruko nodded slowly, feeling a warmth inside. I think I'm starting to understand. It's like when Hana teaches me to listen, not just to others, but to my own heart. Just then, Zenitsu and Inashuk joined them, their usual energy softened by the quiet moment. Zenitsu said, I used to be so afraid of everything, but Naruko, you remind me that courage can be gentle. Inashuk grinned, though his voice was quieter than usual. Yeah, and I've learned that strength isn't just about fighting, it's about protecting the people and the world you care about. Together, they sat beneath the cherry blossoms, sharing stories about their journeys. Naruko felt a deep connection to her friends, and a growing sense of calm and confidence within herself. That evening, back at Hana's home, Naruko practiced her breathing exercises, focusing on the calm light inside her chest. She thought about the peaceful quests, the weaving, and the lessons from her friends. She realized that inner growth wasn't about rushing to be perfect or strong, it was about patience, kindness, and trusting her own path. Hana watched her quietly and said, "You're becoming a shining light, Naruko. Remember, even in a world with darkness, your heart can be a beacon of hope." Naruko smiled softly, feeling ready for whatever adventures lay ahead, not just with her skills, but with her heart guiding the way. The sun had just begun to warm the sky as Naruko stepped out from Hana's cottage, her breath visible in the cool morning air. The forest around her was alive with gentle sounds, birds singing softly, leaves rustling in the breeze, and the distant trickle of a stream. It was a peaceful world, one that she was slowly coming to know and love. Naruko's heart felt full as she thought about her friends, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inashuk. Each one was so different, yet they had welcomed her without hesitation. Their friendship was a new kind of strength she hadn't expected but deeply treasured. Today, Naruko had decided to visit them at their camp near the edge of the village. As she walked the familiar path, she remembered the first day she met Tanjiro. His kind eyes and calm voice had made her feel safe even in a strange world. Tanjiro was patient and thoughtful, always ready to listen and help. When she arrived, Tanjiro was gently sharpening his sword under the shade of a tall tree, the afternoon light flickering through the leaves. Beside him, Zenitsu was nervously trying to light a small campfire, his hands trembling slightly. Naruko smiled and approached quietly. "Hi, Tanjiro, Zenitsu. Can I join you?" Tanjiro looked up with a welcoming smile. "Of course, Naruko. We're glad you came." Zenitsu flinched at the sound but soon relaxed when he saw her friendly face. Hello. I'm just trying to get the fire started. It's trickier than it looks." Naruko knelt beside Zenitsu, her fingers steady. "Let me help." With careful patience, she showed him how to arrange the kindling and blow gently on the embers. Slowly, the fire began to crackle warmly. Zenitsu's eyes widened in surprise. "Wow, thank you. You're really good at this." Naruko laughed softly. "I've learned a few things from Hana and the villagers." Soon, the fire was bright and cozy, and the three friends settled around it. Naruko felt the warmth not just from the flames but from the comfort of being with people who cared. Inashuk burst into the clearing then, his wild energy filling the air like a sudden breeze. "Hey! What are you all doing without me?" Tanjiro chuckled. "We were just starting a fire for warmth and cooking." Inashuk grinned mischievously. "Well, I can help. Let me show you my way." Despite his usual loudness, Inashuk's eagerness was genuine. Naruko watched as he gathered wood with surprising care, balancing strength and speed. As the evening deepened, the friends shared stories under the starry sky. Tanjiro spoke softly about his family and the hope that kept him going. Zenitsu admitted his fears but also his dreams of being brave. Inashuk, though rough around the edges, spoke about his desire to find where he truly belonged. Naruko listened and shared her own story, her journey from another world, her dreams, and the lessons she'd learned about kindness and courage. They all listened closely, their faces glowing with the firelight and the bonds growing between them. Over the days that followed, Naruko's friendships deepened through small moments. She noticed how Tanjiro quietly helped others, how Zenitsu's laughter could brighten the darkest day, and how Inashuk's fierce loyalty was a shield for his friends. One afternoon, while practicing breathing exercises with Hana, Naruko thought about how each friend showed strength in their own way. She realized that her own strength was not just in what she could do alone but in the trust and love they shared. She remembered a day when Zenitsu had been too scared to face a shadowy forest path. Instead of pushing him, Naruko had held his hand, reminding him that it was okay to be afraid and that she would walk with him. Together, they had found courage in each other's presence. Another time, Inashuk had challenged Naruko to a friendly race, teasing her wild spirit. But when she stumbled, Inashuk was the first to help her up, his usual roar replaced by a gentle smile. And Tanjiro, always steady and kind, had shown her how to calm her racing heart with simple breathing techniques, teaching her that patience was as important as action. These moments, woven together, were the true magic of friendship. One evening, as the village settled into quiet, Naruko sat with her friends beneath the glowing lantern strung between the trees. The air was filled with soft laughter and whispered dreams. Tanjiro looked at her and said, "Naruko, you've become an important part of our group. Your kindness and courage inspire us." Zenitsu nodded, his voice soft. You make me feel braver just by being here. Inashuk grinned, punching the air playfully. Yeah. You're one of us now. Naruko smiled, feeling a warmth that was more than the firelight. It was the glow of friendship, a light that no darkness could dim. She knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, she would face them with her friends by her side, their hearts and hands joined in a bond stronger than any sword. As the gentle days passed in the village nestled between forest and mountain, Naruko found herself growing ever closer to her new friends. Each day was filled with small but precious moments, quiet conversations, shared laughter, and comforting silences that spoke volumes. One cool morning, the group gathered near a bubbling stream to rest after a long walk. The sunlight danced on the water's surface as Naruko sat beside Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inashuk. Though their personalities were different, Tanjiro calm and thoughtful, Zenitsu nervous but kind, and Inashuk wild but loyal, their hearts beat with the same steady rhythm of friendship. Zenitsu sat a little apart, his hands nervously twisting a small wooden charm. I sometimes feel like I'm too scared to do anything, he confessed quietly, eyes fixed on the sparkling water. Naruko turned to him with a gentle smile. It's okay to feel scared. Being brave doesn't mean not being afraid, it means doing what's right even when you are. Zenitsu looked up, surprise softening his usual nervous expression. Do you really think so? I do, Naruko replied. Like when I first came here, everything was so new and strange. But you all made me feel safe and brave. I want to do the same for you. Zenitsu's eyes glistened with gratitude. Thank you, Naruko. Nearby, Inashuk, who usually spoke with fierce energy, sat quietly watching the others. After a moment, he shifted closer to Naruko. You're strong in a way I didn't understand before, he said gruffly. Not with muscles or shouting. But with kindness. Naruko smiled warmly. That means a lot coming from you. Inashuk grinned shyly, then nudged her playfully. Don't get too soft on me. Tanjiro, listening quietly, added, Naruko, your heart brings us all together. It's a strength that holds us steady. That evening, as stars twinkled overhead, the group sat around a small fire, sharing stories from their pasts. Naruko spoke about her home, the world she had come from, and how much she had learned since arriving. Tanjiro told of his family and his dream to protect those he loved without causing harm. Zenitsu shared his fears and his hope for courage. Inashuk laughed through his tales of wild adventures but also admitted to feeling alone sometimes. Naruko reached out, taking each hand in hers, one by one. We're not alone anymore. We have each other. The warmth of their clasped hands was more powerful than any sword or magic. On another day, as rain gently fell, Naruko found herself sitting with Tanjiro under a large maple tree, the leaves creating a shelter of red and gold. Tanjiro taught her a calming breathing technique. Close your eyes, he whispered. Breathe in slowly through your nose, and out through your mouth. When your heart feels heavy or your mind is restless, this can help. Naruko followed his instructions, feeling the cool air fill her lungs and the tension melt away. When she opened her eyes, Tanjiro smiled gently. It's okay to take time to heal inside. Naruko nodded, realizing how much she had needed that peace. During a quiet moment by the village, Zenitsu surprised Naruko by presenting her with a small wooden charm shaped like a tiny flame. For your courage, he said shyly. To remind you of the light you bring. Naruko's heart swelled. Thank you, Zenitsu. I'll carry it with me always. Inashuk, usually more rough and tumble, helped Naruko gather wildflowers one afternoon, carefully selecting the brightest blooms. These are for you, he said gruffly. Because even warriors need beauty around them. Naruko accepted the bouquet with a bright smile. You're full of surprises, Inashuk. Together, they decorated Hana's cottage, laughter filling the air. These moments, simple yet profound, wove their hearts tightly together. Naruko realized that her journey wasn't just about learning new skills or facing challenges. It was about the love, trust, and kindness that grew between friends. One night, as the village settled into peaceful sleep, Naruko looked up at the stars, feeling a deep calm. Her friends were more than companions, they were family. And in their presence, she had found a strength that no darkness could touch. As soft twilight painted the sky in gentle hues, Naruko sat quietly by the riverside, the soothing murmur of flowing water wrapping around her like a lullaby. Beside her, Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inashuk gathered, their faces illuminated by the warm glow of lanterns swaying in the evening breeze. In this peaceful moment, no words were necessary. The silence spoke of trust, understanding, and the deep bonds they had woven through shared experiences. Naruko felt her heart swell with gratitude, for the kindness shown, the patience given, and the courage nurtured within their circle. Tanjiro's calm presence reminded her that strength could be gentle, Zenitsu's shy smile echoed the bravery found in vulnerability, and Inashuk's wild spirit showed her how loyalty and friendship could soften even the fiercest edges. Together, they watched as fireflies danced above the river's surface, tiny lights flickering like the hopes they all carried inside. Naruko's thoughts drifted to the journey ahead, not filled with battles or struggles, but with compassion, growth, and the quiet power of connection. With a soft breath, she reached out, clasping her friend's hands. In that simple gesture, they promised to face whatever came with open hearts and steady spirits. The night embraced them, peaceful and bright, a gentle reminder that in a world shadowed by challenges, the light of friendship was the most precious gift of all. Naruko's fingers intertwined with her friends, warm and steady despite the cool evening air. The gentle chirping of crickets filled the silence between their whispered breaths. Tanjiro shifted slightly, glancing at the sky where stars began to twinkle softly, like tiny lanterns guiding travelers home. Every step we take, Tanjiro said quietly, we carry each other. That's what makes us strong, not just the sword or the skills, but the bonds we build. Zenitsu, usually restless, found calm in Naruko's presence. His voice was soft but certain. I never thought I'd feel this brave. You helped me see that courage lives in kindness, too. Inashuk let out a rare, gentle laugh, his usual boisterousness replaced by warmth. I don't say this often, but you're one of the best friends I've ever had. Naruko's heart blossomed with a peaceful joy. She looked at each of them, their faces glowing with friendship and hope, and knew that her journey was just beginning. Together, they would face every challenge with gentle strength and open hearts. The fireflies continued their dance, weaving light into the night, much like the friendships that wove Naruko's world into something beautiful and whole. As the night deepened, they remained side by side, a quiet promise between them. No matter where their paths led, they would always be there for one another. And in that truth, Naruko found a home, not built of stone or wood, but of love, trust, and endless light. Dear YouTube family, that's all for now. If you enjoyed the content, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Your support means the world to me. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. With gratitude. 6 Path Weeb.